Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is like the 6th episode of my 2020 propagation series where I'm just propagating, doing some backyard propagation and showing you the technique that I'm using this year. I've got a lot of old videos on my channel for plant propagation using a lot of different techniques. If you'd like to go back through that playlist, I'll link it up here in the corner and I'll link it down in the description below. And you can see some other techniques that are a little less expensive than this. Although this one's not bad, and this electronic leaf I'm using this year, I just bought a new one, but the one I had before that lasted me 20 some years. So you can get a lot of work out of one of these. So expensive up front, but over a long time, you can, hopefully it'll be worth the expense. I got the first tray off of the irrigation already. Everything from the first video where I took some easy to root things. Everything in that tray is rooted. I think I'm one short of 100% in this tray, so 49 out of 50 isn't bad. And the one that died is actually rooted, but then died because it stayed on the mist too long. That's one important component to propagation. Is as quickly as you possibly can, you need to get them out of the humidity dome or the mist or whatever you have them on as soon as they start to push roots. What I'm doing here is not the best idea, which is mixing lots of different things in the same flat, because they're going to root at different rates, which means I may have to leave something on that started to root longer than I really want to, waiting for something else to root. Sometimes I'll go in and just get out, take out the things that have already rooted and leave the other things on the mist. So in a nursery setting, we would do all the same things in a tray and try to do all similar cuttings throughout that tray so that it roots about the same amount of time. And as soon as everything in the tray starts to push roots, they come off the mist immediately and they get hardened off. If you leave them on the mist with the new roots on them, it has the potential to get root rot. Today I've acquired some gardenia cuttings. I've got some Climbs Hardy gardenias and I've got some trailing gardenias or gardenia radicans. And I'll show you those real quick, and then I'll give you an up close. What my next plan is here is I'm going to take the lantana and the verbena and another type of verbena I did here and some of the perennial things, and I'm going to pot them into these small containers, these little pint containers that I acquired this year just buying plants. And I'm going to see, it's August 22nd or whatever it is today. I'm going to see if I can put a little bit of growth on them and see if I can put them on my neighborhood Facebook page toward the beginning of October and actually see if I can sell any of them and show you how quick I can turn some of these perennials into a few dollars. It won't be much, but I'll show you pretty quickly. I won't be able to put a whole lot of growth on them. The days will get shorter as I go into fall, but as an example, I just want to show you how quickly I could turn a few of these things into a few dollars. I've sold several things off this driveway since I've been here, things that I had rooted in the past at my nursery and things I had left over from my garden center, things I've dug up in this yard. I've actually, a week or two ago, I sold some variegated Solomon seal that was in a clump next to the driveway, and I just divided them into pieces and put it on my neighborhood Facebook page, and people came and put money in the mailbox. And surprisingly, a pretty good day selling something that I just dug up out of the ground. So I want to show you that as part of this backyard plant propagation thing, that you could actually, any extras you have, you can sell them for a few dollars. Okay, so let me show you the gardenias and then I'll give you a quick up close in here. So I have two types of gardenias. It doesn't matter what gardenia you're taking cuttings from. We're going to take exactly the same type of cutting. I acquired them from some neighbors. They were hanging out over the sidewalk. This is a Climbs Hardy gardenia right here, and it has a single flower on it, but it blooms heavily. It's still blooming. As you can see in the beginning of this video, still has some flowers on it, even late in the season. I'm going to take the exact same kind of cutting we've been taking. I'll take the newest growth off the top right there, and somewhere around the bottom, I'll scrape that and maybe leave 2 or 3, 4 leaves on the top. It's no problem whatsoever. I think you can see that I've wounded the bottom of it, but that's it. Gardenia's root super, super easy. I'll dip it in that Clonex gel and stick it in about halfway down and pinch it in. Let's see. And you can get lots and lots of cuttings off of gardenias. Gardenias will root on the new wood, the softwood cuttings, and the old wood. It doesn't matter really. I tend to try to take all the same kind of cuttings in a flat though, so they'll root in the same amount of time. I'll talk more about that in just a minute here. But this is the same thing over and over. I'm going to take the new growth out of the top of it, leave just a few leaves. If pulling the leaves off should wound the bottom of it, I think you can see that right there. As long as it wounds the bottom of it, that's all you need. Dip it into Clonex about halfway down, and these will root very, very quickly. No problem whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and pull out Radican's gardenia just so you can see that there's absolutely no difference. Radican's, this is the trailing gardenia here. I can get tons of cuttings off of this one little branch that we're going to call it acquired this morning. But I'm just going to pull the bottom leaves off, take the newest growth off the top right there, and same thing over and over. But there's a Gardenia Radicans cutting. I'm just leaving just a few leaves, wounding the bottom of it, dipping it. I'm going to come back a little bit. I'm going to do 3 rows of Climbs Hardy and 3 rows of Radicans. I'll show you these in the house. So here's that first tray I did. Here are these hibiscus right here, rooted beautifully. But again, here's this lantana, and all of these are rooted very well. Did you see that lantana? We're going to put that in a pot in the next video and get those sold. Verbena, same thing. Here's the verbena right there, and that should grow out pretty quickly. And I'll show you how to pot them, what to use, and what I fertilize them with to get them moving pretty quickly. For those of you who hadn't seen this little setup, go back and watch the first video in this series. This electronic leaf, as it dries out, it comes up, mist comes on, weights it back down, and it stays off until it dries off again and pops back up. All of the things in the second flat have pretty much rooted as well. This is this other verbena here, looking good, great looking roots on that. These African basil, same thing, just perfect roots. I'm going to go ahead and pull that tray out of here as well. There's the gardenias that I just did, and they'll root very quickly. Gardenias root very quickly. I didn't show as much here, in that close-up, because I'm taking the same kind of cutting over and over and over again. This kind of semi-softwood cutting or semi-hardwood cutting, whatever you want to call it. So in between a softwood cutting and a hardwood cutting, over and over and over again. Here's the camellias, which I've told you is going to be the slowest thing in here. And there's that mix of viburnum that I did last week. I doubt very seriously there's any kind of rooting or anything going on here yet, but they're starting to callus. It won't be long. Some of these will root faster than others, but there's where I'm at so far. I'm going to, somebody had asked about gardenias, and that's why I did gardenias this week. If you've got something you want to see me stick in here, just ask, and I'll acquire them again in the neighborhood. But the next video I do in the series will be potting up that flat that has already rooted and seeing if I can get a few dollars for that stuff this fall. Thanks for watching.